Hello, it's Toaster Party, and today I'm bringing you another common charity deck profile. This time, it's Paleozoic Lightsworn. So another archetype that I really wanted to test out for common charity was Lightsworn. Only problem was, it was kind of hard to find another archetype to splash it into. But when I was checking through old Lightsworn list, I saw one from 2014 that was running the card Breakthrough Skill. And I thought, not Breakthrough Skill, I'm thinking, what if I played Lightsworn with Lostwind instead? And then when I thought Lostwind, I then immediately thought Lostwind goes well with Paleozoics, so thus Paleozoic Lightsworn. But without further ado, let's move on to the actual list. Here we are with the list, and hey, it actually contains Lightsworn cards for a deck that's named Lightsworn. Without further ado, let's get into the card by card. So first off, we have 3 copies of Raiden. This card, during main phase, you can activate its effect to mill 2 cards, and if it's still on the field during the end phase, it mills an additional 2 cards. Because Paleos really like to be engraved, Lightsworns are a pretty obvious choice for being able to mix in. We have 1 copy of Lila, the Lightsworn that's basically an MST. I figured that it would be fine to have an additional one of because we already have a searcher for it, that being Charge of the Light Brigade. Then we have 3 copies of Lumina. This one allows you to discard a card to reborn any of your level 4 or lower Lightsworn monsters and special summon them to the field. That allows you to get additional mills and allows you to have easier access to a synchro package when trying to go for game. We also have 2 copies of Absolute King Backjack, just a good card to be able to mill, and because most of the deck is normal traps, you're most likely to be able to hit something off the top. 1 copy of Rhoda, so you can search your Raidens. We have 3 copies of Charge of the Light Brigade, the main reason to be able to play Lightsworn in this kind of deck, because its ability to mill 3 and then add a Lightsworn from deck to hand definitely synergizes well with this list. We have 6 cards that didn't load, that being 3 copies of Paleozoic Oleonoids and 3 copies of Paleozoic Diamondamicious. Both really good Paleo cards. One is a MST, the other one is a Karma Cut, but a bit better. That flowed into level 2 monsters when another trap's activated. 3 copies of Torrential Tribute, one of the best trap cards ever made, followed up by 3 copies of Morella. This one allows you to Foolish one of your traps, which helps set up for additional Link or Xyz plays, and sometimes Synchro plays. 3 copies of Lostwind, the card that inspired this idea. It's essentially a form of Effect Veiler that also can half an opponent's monster's attack. The only problem is it targets, so it has to hit very specific things. Then we have 3 copies of Trap Trick, a card that can just search out any of your Paleos and Torrential Tribute. We then have 3 copies of Paleozoic Canadia. It's a Book of Moon. Then we have 3 copies of Crackdown and 3 copies of Solemn Strike as additional disruption/removal things. On to the extra, we have some synchros because Raiden is a tuner. We have pretty easy access to a lot of different synchro bosses that will help control the board or close out a game. We have 1 copy of Scrap Dragon. It's probably the best level 8 synchro that you can play in Common Charity, at least as far as I found. We have 1 copy of Michael, the Arc Lightsworn, another really good card that you can go into that allows you to, once per turn, pay 1,000 and target a card on the field and banish it. And then it also mills additional cards during the end step. 1 copy of this strange card. So, when looking over the common legal synchros, I saw this thing. It's pretty terrible, but its ability to discard cards to gain 700 attack for each card discarded does come up, and if you're playing against any of the main meta decks right now, you'll need something like this possibly to out something like a Leo Dancer or a Goki the Powerload Ogre. It's not a great way to do it, but it is technically an additional way to do it. We have 1 copy of Black Rose Dragon. It's just a board nuke, and because you have access to a lot of level 7 synchros, it's good. 1 copy of Power Tool Dragon. This is exclusively for if you've sided into the 3 copies of Moon Mirror Shield and It's just a way to get one of those onto the field in case you haven't milled them already. We then have a copy of Winged Pegasus Ad Ignister. It allows you to destroy spell and traps your opponent's control. Well, one. We have a Red Wyvern. It's the best level 6 synchro I could find, so if you have Raiden plus a Paleo, you can go into this. It allows you to destroy one monster on the field that has higher attack, or the highest attack on the field. Then you have 2 copies of Mannequin Cat. It's one of the best rank 2s you can go into. Another copy of a rank 2, that being Phantom Knight's Cursed Javelin, just another good rank 2. 1 copy of Borlo Dragon. You can sometimes get a lot of copies of Paleozoic monsters onto your field, and if you can turn them into these Link Spiders, you can then make a Borload. 1 copy of Berserker of the Tenyi. If you can't make Borload, you can then convert your Link Spiders into this instead. 1 copy of Paleozoic Cambo-Raster, the other card that didn't load. It's unaffected by other monsters' effects, and you can use it to set Paleo cards to your side of the field. 2 Link Spider, just to be able to convert your Paleos into material to make other Link monsters. On with the side deck, we have 3 copies of Lava Golem, probably one of the best kaijus in the format, and because you don't tend to normal summon a lot, it doesn't tend to hurt you that much. And even if you do need that normal summon for like a Raiden, if you're Lava Goleming someone, you probably will survive anyway because you still have access to all of your Paleozoics. Then 3 copies of Moon Mirror Shield. This was a tech choice that I saw used in a Paleo Frogs list that topped a common charity event. It is a pretty clean out to Goki the Power Load Ogre, Lunalight Leo Dancer, and just any of those really big towersy things that you can't out otherwise besides with combat, because this card just means that your monster will always be able to attack over that monster. 3 copies of Storing the Air Force, just another out to Leo Dancers and Goki the Power Load Ogres. 3 copies of Heavy Storm Duster for any back row decks that you run into, and it's searchable off Trap Trick. And then 3 Armory Call, just to ensure that you're able to out those big towersy boss monsters. Well, that's the list. Hope you enjoy, and I hope you all have an excellent day, and leave a like, comment, and subscribe.